welcome back to the Mod Squad Network's Conversations with the Mod Squad. I'm your host, Kevin. Joining me as always is Felix.
What's up?
And today we have Steve from the last podcast you'd want. How's it going, brother?
I
What
feel
up,
I
G?
feel I feel intimidated with you guys just being the little guys and me being the big square. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on. I always love doing other shows. So thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Oh, not a problem, man. Not a problem. You are on Back to the Retro Review, which is also my podcast, but you also have your own podcast, The Last Podcast You'd Want. How did that podcast come about?
So for years and years and years, there was a buddy that I had, also named Steve, and we wanted to start a podcast where we just talked about movies, and we were going to call it The Last Podcast on the Left. And we waited too long to start it, and someone else made a podcast called The Last Podcast on the Left. So I was sitting there just very stoned one night, and I thought to myself, like, The Last Podcast You'd Want. That's a catchy name. People are going to be like, why would it be the last podcast I'd want? And from there, it just kind of stemmed. And for like 3 years, I had a 45-minute hour interview format show where I asked like 7 questions. I asked, what was the first movie to give you nightmares? What's a movie that takes you back to your childhood? There are a handful of questions that I had from there. It's been so long since I've done the interview style. I have forgotten the majority of the questions. And after a while, it just was very repetitious. Not that what I'm doing now on my show isn't repetitious, but I changed the format to a shorter format, 15 minutes to 20 minutes, unless I'm doing a draft episode. And it's just gone from purely talking about movies and life experiences to talking about movies, TV shows, video games, music, whatever is keeping you entertained and keeping you in the relevancy of the world. That's what the show has kind of turned into, other than me just bullshitting with my friends.
I like it, man. I like it. All right, so what this show is all about is we're going to dive deep into Steve, how he thinks, and the way he answers questions and such. So what we're going to do is start off with some word association, and Felix is going to start this off.
Yeah, just whatever comes into mind. Western.
Clint Eastwood.
The color green.
Kermit the Frog.
Hero.
Clint Eastwood.
Network.
ABC.
Rain.
Tom Cruise.
Adventure.
Indiana Jones.
Rose.
Bette Midler.
I like that one. Memory.
My mother.
Fear.
Being alone.
And cheeseburgers.
Absolutely.
All right. That works.
I love it. Now I have some questions, and to follow up on Felix's cheeseburger question, my question to you is a hot dog a sandwich?
No, it's a hot dog.
See, I tend to agree with you on this, but some people think it's a sandwich.
It's because a sandwich is two separate slices of bread.
Oh, crap.
Thing in between. A hot dog bun has a connecting piece where it is one cohesive unit holding something.
I agree. I fully agree. But when I think of hot dogs, I think of going to events, and I love going to wrestling events.
Sure.
When that music hits and the wrestler comes through the curtain, you know exactly who he is and what he's all about. If you had a theme song that played every time you walked into a room, what would it be?
It would be probably Shipping Off to Boston by the Dropkick Murphys.
I don't think I know that one, but
have you seen the movie The Departed by Martin Scorsese?
a long time ago.
It's the song that plays when Leonardo DiCaprio goes to jail and all of that. I guarantee if you heard it, you would know it. But yeah, probably Shipping Off to Boston by Dropkick Murphys.
All right, all right. Well, speaking of songs, what is your guilty pleasure car karaoke song? You know that song that when you're at a red light and it comes on, you roll the window up and you blare the radio and you just belt it out. What
Yeah,
is that
it's
song?
Halo by Beyonce.
It's what?
It's Halo by Beyonce.
That's what's
I
up.
love it.
It's either that or All the Single Ladies. Any other song, I really don't have any shame. I used to sing in karaoke by the Bloodhound Gang. The lap dance is always better when the stripper is crying.
Okay.
And if you don't know that song, the opening line of that song is "I was lonelier than Kunta Kinte at a Merle Haggard concert."
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
Kunta Kinte
Speaking
brings
of
it.
speaking of cars and stuff and like going and traveling, what is the farthest you've ever traveled from home for vacation?
Massachusetts. My father and I drove cross country. I also drove cross country with my aunt to Florida. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure Massachusetts would be the furthest. I mean,
Yeah, probably.
driving Massachusetts. I've flown to Japan because you can't drive to Japan.
Right.
But yeah, probably Massachusetts.
I mean, you
My
can. You'd probably just get wet.
wet. Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
die. I know my father and I, when I was 13 years old, drove out to Massachusetts in my father's company panel van,
Mhm.
and we made multiple stops across the country. Very rarely can you say that you travel down the Hershey Highway with your father, but we did in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Because in
I
Hershey,
love it.
Pennsylvania, it is called the Hershey Highway.
I love it. Well, that is in terms of miles. But if you could travel 10 years to the past or 10 years to the future, only for 24 hours, which way would you go and why?
Honestly, at this point, it's way. I see. You throw me off on this one because part of me would want to go 10 years in the past, just because I really miss my brother, and I'd love the chance to see him again. But also 10 years into the future to see if I'm even still alive.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. I never
Because
even
I'm
thought
40,
of that.
I'm 41 now. Who knows if I'm going to make it to 51? You know,
That's true.
today,
That's true. That's
you
a good
know,
answer.
today's not promised.
It's a good answer.
Yeah. All right. Now is a little bit of color theory. How would you describe the color purple to a blind man?
So it is a movie that was made in the 1980s by Steven Spielberg with Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey. The color purple.
I didn't think of that one either. That's a good one.
The color purple for me is as I would describe it to a blind person is almost how they basically related to it in medieval times. It's a color of royalty. It's like it's a deep, because if you really want to get into a purple, for me, like there's like Barney purple, but then there's like the deep purple, like almost a grape purple.
Okay.
And so it's like it's a color of royalty, and it just it has depth to it, like almost black, but with a little bit of hope.
Oh, I like that. Almost black with a little bit of hope. That's a great answer. I really do like that. What is the funniest thing to ever happen to you that you can legally talk about?
I mean, I got a couple of those like funniest things. I mean, it's probably the one that I told you about beforehand. But when I was single digits, maybe 10, my father and I were driving up to San Mateo, and we stopped at a restaurant called Casa de Fruta, and it was like 3 or 4 in the morning, and we were both extremely tired. He was driving the whole time because I was 10 and couldn't. And I was drinking Sprite. He was drinking coffee. And we were just sitting in this restaurant that had almost no one in it. And there's just this light jazzy type music. But I look at my dad and I go, you know, that kind of sounds like tango music. And I just rip just the loudest fart that had no smell. Just only me and my father heard it. It was loud enough, though, that my father on the other side of the table heard it, almost felt it, and I don't know why. I just looked at him and I went, "Tango!" And we erupted in laughter to the point that I had Sprite coming out of my nose. I just was uncontrollably sobbing. I had to go to the bathroom to compose myself. I splashed water on my face. I composed myself. I took a deep breath. I stepped out into the main area. The music was still playing. I lost it again.
That's a good one. That's a good one. If you were to poll your friends and family, what would they say you're most known for?
My just being brutally honest.
That you are.
I don't have a filter. I say what's on my mind.
I like it.
Why a lot of people probably don't like me.
Oh, we like you, man. We like
No,
you.
I know you do.
we love you.
I'm saying I know there are people out there in this world that definitely do not like me. And it's probably
I got
because I don't have a filter and I'm just brutally honest.
All right. Well, I'm a comic book guy. I have Superman on my wall behind me and stuff like that. But if you had a superhuman power, what would it be, and would you use it for good or evil?
Little bit of column A, little bit of column B, and it would be teleportation like Nightcrawler.
I like
That's what's
it.
up. I like it.
I like it. And like I said,
If you had asked teenage Steve, it would have been for evil, and it would have been invisibility, and I could have told you exactly where I would have been going.
We all know why you would use it for. Like I said, I'm a Superman guy. I read comics. That's my form of media that I really love. But what single piece of media, whether it be for book, movie, or TV, has had the most influence on the person you are today?
Well, I mean, if you really want to get into it, that's Jurassic Park, that's Scooby-Doo, that's Ghostbusters, that's Pokemon, that's Pee-wee Herman, that's The Shining, that's Resident Evil, this is Batman, that's I'd say movies. See, I have
Movies.
Dawn of the Dead, I have Blues Brothers. Movies by far have shaped me into who I am. That and music. I can't between the two because movies gave me the humor and attitude that I have, and I'd say that music has influenced me in more of my passion and my emotions. Like movies can definitely help you in your emotions, but I'd say music is definitely better for emotions than movies are.
I agree.
All right, well, I like movies too, and one of my favorite movies is actually Castaway, where he's stranded on a desert island.
Wilson!
If you were stranded on a desert island, what 3 items would you take with you and why?
Oh man, it's the classic. What 3 items on a desert island? Well, obviously I can't. There's no power, so like a DVD player and a TV with unlimited DVDs is just right out. So I'd say, see, that's a tough one. 3 items on a desert island. I'm gonna say I'll bring an umbrella, like not like a big
umbrella.
family, a big family going to the beach umbrella. We'll go ahead and we'll take that. We'll go ahead and for the last 2 items, I would bring a male and female pig.
Oh, I like it. That way you got food. I like it.
And that way I have a continuous source of food. Because I wait for the male and the female to do the business, and then the little ones come along, and you just keep the mom and the dad for a while until you get like...
Mm-hmm.
So I guess... And then I guess I'd have a rock to take care of the rest of the business. I don't know, probably put chili over a beach umbrella. But yeah, thinking that short, that fast, those would be the items.
No, that's a good one. I like it. If you could switch lives with someone for a day, who would it be and why?
Do they currently have to be alive?
We'll go no. We'll go no. We'll broaden it. Yeah.
You see, because the person that I think I'd pick is still alive, but at the point that they are in their life, no, I'd probably still pick it. Mel Brooks. I'd switch days with Mel Brooks. I think that'd be a fun day.
Oh,
It's a
I
good
probably
one.
would. I like it. I like it. All right.
Wait. Does that mean that Mel Brooks would have to live a day in my life?
Yes, you
Oh,
switch
I
lives
love,
for a
yeah,
day.
Mel Brooks. Yeah, Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks.
All right, last two questions. What are your 1 year, 5 year, and 10 year goals?
My 1 year goal is to have successfully written another movie script. My 5 year goal would be a two-parter of having, within a 5 year span, having a child, and producing and directing one of those scripts. And my 10 year plan would be to get enough scripts under my belt to actually become a credited Hollywood screenplay writer. That would be.
Love it.
I like it. I like it. And my last question for you, Steve. If you took center stage to the world and had everybody by their ear, what would your message be?
Don't be a dick. Be nicer, because you don't know what anyone else is going.
I like it. I like it. Well, that is all the questions I have. We're going to finish this up with some rapid fire this or that. Felix, shoot them out, buddy.
All right, here, hit me.
Android or Apple?
Apple,
DC or Marvel?
Marvel,
Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation,
Day or night?
night,
Cats or dogs?
dogs.
Careful with this one. Prince or Michael Jackson?
Prince.
Right on. Geek or whore?
I say that one again.
Geek or whore?
Geek.
Chess or checkers?
Chess.
Books or ebooks?
Books.
Hard or soft tacos?
I'm gonna say soft tacos.
And that was the last one.
All right. Well, as we wrap those things up, Steve, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your podcast, and do you have anything you'd like to promote?
The last podcast you'd want. I don't release nearly as much as I used to, but if you want to go and tell your friends to check it out, I've had many stars from the 80s and 90s to today, to comedians, people that are on shows that are currently on HBO. I've had 3 of the people from Jackass. I've had 3 of the kids from The Sandlot. I've had 3 of the kids from School of Rock. It was something I was really passionate about for a really long time, and it just kind of fell off. And I'm kind of trying to look to find the passion on that again. And when it comes down to it, it's kind of my message to the world. Just be nice. Like, it's really hypocritical for someone like me to be saying that, because I'm a real negative asshole. And I get really angry really easy. I have a really short fuse. I get it from my father. From my father's side of the family, my really short fuse. But it's this clip that's going around online for the last couple months just keeps circling around in my head, of this guy walking in front of this guy doing an interview, and he goes like, "Wow, that was rude," and the guy he's like, he's in his own world. He's just doing his own thing. Everybody else is. We don't know the struggles. We don't know the problems of the other people that are going on, and they're just trying to live their lives and get through the best they can. And that's something that I feel every now and then, because I try and live a PMA, a positive mental attitude. I try and live the best day that I can, even when I get angry over stupid shit. But it's like, you never know what someone else is going through, and you never know anyone else's problems unless you take the time to talk to people and realize who they are, what they're about, where they're going, what they want, who they want to be. So just think about your fellow man on days that you get angry and someone cuts you off. It may not be malicious intent. It may just be a fucking accident. You should just get over it.
That
Love
is a
it.
great message. Great message. All right. Well, as we are coming to a close, so for Steve, I thank you for being here. Felix, I am Kevin saying thank you for being a friend.
See ya.